Activision currently under investigation for fraud following Bungie split. So if you haven't heard, Bungie is it's a game company, and they were partnered with Activision, and they split, which basically takes the game Destiny out from under Activision and puts it back with Bungie. I don't know the full details of it, but essentially, now there's a fraud investigation, partly having to do with a stock drop-off. So, yeah, I'm sure if you lost 10% of your stock over the split, you'd be upset. So let's take a look at this story. Let's read through it. Following the news that Bungie has gained the full right to Destiny after announcing their very public split with Activision, things are continuing to look a little grimmer for the big-name company. First, Activision stock took a pretty steep dive following the breakup. Now they are currently being investigated for fraud. According to a recent report from MarketWatch, a new investigation has kicked off concerning suspected unlawful business practices and other types of fraud within their daily operations. The report was set up similarly as an alert to shareholders and as an official disclosure on behalf of investors of Activision Blizzard. The investigation is being led by Pomerantz LLP, a firm that is one of the premier names with a specialization in corporate functionality, securities, and antitrust class litigation. There's a lot of speculation regarding the reason behind the abrupt split from Bungie after a 10-year contract, but the two companies did offer up their own statements earlier this week. When we first launched our partnership with Activision in 2010, the gaming industry was in a pretty different place. As an independent studio setting out to build a brand new experience, we wanted a partner willing to take a big leap of faith with us. We had a vision for Destiny that we believed in, but to launch a game of that magnitude, we needed the support of an established publishing partner, reads Bungie's full statement. With Activision, we created something special. To date, Destiny has delivered a combination of over 50 million games and expansions to players all around the world. More importantly, we've also witnessed a remarkable community, tens of millions of Guardians strong, rise up and embrace Destiny, to play together, to make and share memories, and even to do truly great things that reach far beyond the game we share, to deliver a positive impact on people's everyday lives. Though they mentioned they enjoyed their 8-year run with Activision, Bungie is ready to have their Destiny name fully in their grasp once more. The team also announced that plans for the separation are already underway, and that both teams are dedicated to making sure the fans aren't hurt by the transitional process. Activision shortly thereafter released their own statement saying, now before I read that, I want to just point out, I've been a Destiny player since Destiny came out, and I've actually slowly started falling out of playing Destiny because of constant problems. When Destiny 1 first came out, it was a fun game, and they quickly did what so many gaming companies do. They removed what made it fun. They slowly started patching out fun things. Now, there are some people who believe it's Activision's fault, that Bungie initially had a really great idea for what Destiny would be, and the game slowly changed because it's about making that Skrilla, if you know what I mean. Bungie eventually released the Eververse, which is microtransactions, something very common we're seeing hit the gaming industry. And I think what we're going to see now, which is, I believe what we're seeing here is a symptom of it, is that if you want a really good game, in my opinion, it's probably, I'm betting it's going to come from an indie developer. Independent developers, right? Smaller companies, they believe in gaming and they want to deliver a really fun narrative and a really great experience. But the bigger these companies get, the more concerned they are with shareholders, not realizing that producing crappy, god-awful games with microtransactions up the ass results in a stock drop-off when no one wants to buy your product. And I think this is one of the things we're seeing across the board. Look at Fallout 76. They came out with a game with no real story. Like, it's a fun game, in my opinion, to play with friends. I stopped playing it because they ruined it. But what did they want to do? They wanted to make an online experience so they could sell you things in between. Bad experience, bad games, you failed. Maybe this will be a wake-up call to a lot of these companies. And they'll say, you know what, maybe we do need to make insular, single-player games with big narratives to bring in that money. But as long as they keep doing this stupid microtransaction online stuff with no narrative, that's what you're going to get. But let's read what Activision had to say. Today we're announcing plans for Bungie to assume full publishing rights and responsibilities for the Destiny franchise, reads the official statement. Going forward, Bungie will own and develop the franchise, and Activision will increase its focus on owned IP and other projects. Activision and Bungie are committed to a seamless transition for the Destiny franchise, and will continue to work closely together during the transition on behalf of the community of Destiny players around the world. What this means for the future, no one knows yet, but with mounting concerns of Activision's influence over Blizzard, something weird is happening and it needs to be addressed before it's too late. Yeah, because Warcraft is also losing. I mean, Warcraft has kind of lost its magic a long time ago. And then they just say thoughts. But the other story here is Activision Blizzard sees a huge stock plummet following Bungie split. The gaming world was shooketh yesterday when Activision and Bungie announced that they were parting ways and that Bungie won the custody rights to the Destiny franchise. Immediately, the Destiny community rejoiced in what this means for future creative endeavors, but a common reaction was Blizzard next. Something clearly needs to change, and the latest stock drop proves it. Following the reveal, the Activision Blizzard stock reportedly saw a 7% decrease following the big reveal. Fast forward to this morning, and it fell even further to 12%, and the drop continues. While many held Activision accountable for the more regrettable decisions made in Destiny 2, like I was basically just saying, paywall blocks, rushed content, this isn't the first time that Bungie has parted ways with a big name. Their previous beef was with Microsoft before Phil Spencer came on to save the scene. So the save themselves routine regarding Activision, oh I see, is both familiar and a relief. There's a lot of speculation regarding the reason behind the abrupt split after a 10-year contract, but the two companies did offer up their own statements, which I read, so let's see if they have anything else to offer. Let's see, and then it's just basically the exact same statements, which is kind of weird, comicbook.com, that you would basically write two of the same stories, but, so, yeah, let's see if MarketWatch can add anything particularly interesting to what's going on here, because it seems like they just regurgitate their own stories. Shareholder alert. Pomerantz Law Firm investigates claims on behalf of investors of Activision Blizzard Inc., ATVI. Now, I want to let you guys in on something. I actually owned Activision Blizzard stock, I think 2 years ago. Not a whole lot, right? There's an app that I use, makes it really simple. It's called Robinhood, and I just went on, and I had some my savings, and I'm like, I got invested in something. So you know what I thought? Instead of investing in things to get rich quick, right? A lot of people are like, oh, here's some tips to invest in companies. I invested in companies that I said I just liked, you know, because my thing was, I'm a big fan of Activision Blizzard. I'm a fan, I was a Destiny player, I'm a World of Warcraft player, I'm a Hearthstone player, and I played Overwatch at the time, and what other game am I forgetting? Whatever, I'm probably forgetting a bunch. But also Activision Blizzard had many of the top esports, so I bought some of the stock, and it slowly went up. And then I started looking into how the company was functioning. I started getting upset at decisions they were making in their games, and I thought, you know what? Initially, my response was investing in a company I believed in makes sense, but when they start doing things to change the games and moving in a direction that I don't believe in, it's probably a good idea to get out, because what I'm feeling probably isn't unique to me. I bet many of you who are gamers who watch this probably felt something similar when you started seeing these things happening at Blizzard. And I'll say this too, there's probably a lot of people who know way more about what's going on within Activision and Blizzard and these other companies than I do, and probably saw this way before I did. But I'll tell you what happened. I did get out, and then the stock price started to fall for various reasons. And at this point, the stock is definitely a little bit higher, and that's just because, look, it all trends upwards. But at the time when I sold, I actually ended up selling, I think, for a little bit more than when I bought in. Not too much, but I was like, I gotta get out because of what these companies are doing. Now, with what we're seeing with Destiny, I mean, honestly, it had a lot to do with Destiny, in my opinion. But with how these companies behave and how the gaming world is changing, what they're trying to embrace, it seems like a lot of the best games are going to end up being developed by people who are passionate about it. So right now, a game that I play almost every single day with my PlayStation controller, oh, you can't see it, there you go, is Skater XL, right? So I'm a big fan. I grew up playing Tony Hawk. Then I started playing EA Skate, but EA won't make Skate. And there's been a campaign called Make EA Skate Again for a while to see Skate 4, and it hasn't happened. Some people thought that maybe they would port EA Skate 3 to PS4. I haven't really paying attention to that, mostly because an indie studio, I believe it's called East Bay, developed a game called Skater XL, and the coolest thing, in my opinion, has happened. It was a single level, it's an early release, and it's $20. And it's actually one of the best control systems for a game, a skateboarding game. It uses 2 sticks, and it's similar to EA Skate, but a little bit more complicated. And there's no like trick names, you just do the trick, you just do it, right? You have to actually do a kickflip. If you're not familiar with skateboarding, you do a skateboard trick, you land in the grind, and you actually control the player. It's awesome. But the coolest thing was that a community grew modding the game, and now you have people who just like the game and like the framework adding to it, and people are just modding it online. And they're all encouraging everybody, buy the base game to support those who developed this as far as they did, and then download the mods on top and get the fuller experience the community is building. I think this is going to be the future of games for the most part. we've already seen over the past several years with Bethesda kind of dropping the ball on what they need to do for Fallout, and then the modding community fixing everything. But these companies can't keep relying on that. And when we see, you know, games from EA, games from Activision, games from Bethesda, all trying to adopt this microtransaction online formula, I have to say, I'm not going to play your game. I still play the older Fallouts. I think they're fun. And now I'm playing the skateboarding game that was developed by an indie studio because EA wouldn't do it. Maybe they would make the money. And that's fair. If you're not going to make money, don't do it. But now you've got people who believe in it, doing the work for free and making the game awesome. So, you know, ultimately, I'm not confident. I'm not confident in the future of big gaming developers. And that's kind of sad because I love me some video games. Anyway, I don't know, thanks for hanging out. I got some more videos coming up, and I'll see you in just a few minutes.